You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Days of Our Lives fans, we could soon see Rachel Black getting all of her memories back of the night that she shot her uncle E.J. DiMera. And when she does, wicked little Rachel might have a really big nervous breakdown. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're going to talk about whether her grandma Marlena Evans and her dad Brady Black can save Rachel from herself once she remembers she shot EJ. Please hit that subscribe and that like, and let's dive right in. It sure looks like Rachel is right on the verge of remembering that she pulled the trigger that fateful night when EJ was shot. We leaked 6 months ago that she was the shooter way before the reveal. And, you know, I think I told you guys before that the Day's press office got really mad at me for revealing so early that Rachel nearly killed EJ. And of course, Kristen DiMera took the fall to protect her daughter, and she, EJ, and Marlena are all hoping that Rachel never remembers what happened, but that doesn't seem likely. The 5th grade tween is starting to recall bits and pieces of the night that EJ was shot. And as she testified in court, Rachel acutely remembers seeing her cousin Johnny DiMera holding a gun and threatening his father, EJ. That memory was a huge part of the prosecution in the attempted murder trial against Johnny. And it wasn't until EJ had a couple of hypno sessions with Dr. Marlena that it came to him, and he finally remembered who pulled the trigger. EJ was flabbergasted to recall his niece Rachel was the one with the gun, and she shot him with Roman's gun that Johnny left behind. EJ and Marlena were both completely shocked, and then they broke the news to Kristen, who was horrified, and she begged her brother EJ, please don't turn in Rachel. But EJ had to tell Kristen, look, I can't let Johnny go to jail for shooting me. So in a powerful display of a mother's selfless love, Kristen did the right thing for once in her life, and she burst into the courtroom and she confessed. Too bad she didn't get stuck in traffic, because if she had come 5 minutes later, Leo, as jury foreman, would have read the verdict that said the jury found Johnny not guilty. She wouldn't have even ever had to confess or go to prison. But Kristen, as the shooter, made sense to the judge and to District Attorney Bell Black, and Kristen confessed, so there wasn't even a trial. There was just a little sentencing meeting that they had where Brady asked for her to get the maximum. Since then, Rachel has really, really struggled. She had to testify against Johnny in court, and she felt so guilty. Rachel was worried she'd be the reason that Johnny would go to prison. And after Kristen confessed, then Brady wanted Rachel to have nothing more to do with her, and he didn't want to either. He thinks Kristen is horrible, not only for shooting EJ, but also for then sitting back and letting their daughter go through absolute hell of testifying against her cousin Johnny in court. And all this is because Brady has no idea Rachel is the real shooter, because Kristen swore Marlena and EJ to secrecy. Marlena said Rachel may remember that night in her own time and said that Rachel's mind is protecting her right now. But it looks like that's starting to wear off, and these little things are sparking bits and pieces of Rachel's memory, and it looks like it is all about to break loose in a big, big way. Most recently, at the Tom Horton Free Clinic Gala, Rachel overheard EJ and Will reminiscing, but not fondly, more in an accusatory fashion, about the time when Lucas confessed and took the fall for shooting EJ when his son really did it. And Will said if it wasn't for his father Lucas taking the blame when he was innocent, that Will would still be in Statesville prison. So the look on Rachel's face was interesting. Like it almost looked like something dawned on her. You could see the wheels turning in her twisted little brain. That plus EJ reprimanding her about getting Thomas to do naughty things really has Rachel wondering about herself. If you remember or haven't seen, EJ told her that she needs to leave Thomas alone and not to try to get her cousin to do bad things. EJ said that Thomas isn't like you and I, meaning that Thomas is good, and EJ's acknowledging that he and Rachel are something else. So we all know that Rachel's tormented every woman her dad, Brady, dated, hoping he'd go back with Kristen. And now that Rachel's mom is in prison, of course, Brady despises her. He's trying to limit Rachel's prison visits with her mom. Lucky for Kristen and Rachel, Marlena has been very actively advocating for Brady to keep Kristen in Rachel's life and allow the visits because, of course, she knows Kristen's innocent. But now everything is about to fall apart for Rachel, for Kristen, and for Brady. First of all, Kristen's kidnapped. That comes late this week, early next week. And Rachel is going to lose her mind when she finds out Kristen is missing. Rachel might hear some breaking news, some story of a prisoner that broke out of Statesville and that it's Kristen, and Rachel may be very stunned and confused. And she may hope that Kristen escaped so that she can come find her. Of course, Brady will be stressed out when he hears Kristen escaped. And Brady may think that attempted brother killer Kristen is coming to snatch his daughter. So the next thing that could trigger Rachel's memory of holding the weapon and shooting EJ could be something innocent, like a loud noise, a car backfiring. Rachel could hear a balloon popping at the gala, and then she flashes back to the DiMera mansion and the gun in her hand. Or Marlena's sudden health scare at the gala that has Rachel worried, that could trigger something. The whole stress of it could bring it all back to the forefront. Rachel's seeing a therapist, but even in those sessions, she hasn't recalled shooting EJ. I also question if that therapist is actually doing Rachel any good, because that kid's naughty and she's manipulative. She's not remorseful for anything she does. She's only upset when she gets caught. So she may be playing that therapist like a fiddle that Brady picked out. Rachel recently told Thomas that Cat and Chad are dating, and Cat pretended to be his dead mom, Abigail. And if you remember, Rachel did that to upset Thomas because he was beating her at Monopoly. That's why she blew up Thomas's life. She's a little monster, because then Rachel goaded Thomas into catapulting a pumpkin at Cat during the Hortontown scare, and then Alex got hit instead. Rachel's just always stirring the pot. She's on her teacher Jeremy Horton's radar as a troublemaker. So obviously Marlena and Brady are going to protect Rachel the best they can, but Marlena's, getting increasingly frail. So I think by the end of Sweeps, we are going to have some emotional scenes between Rachel, Marlena, and Brady, with the shooting reveal coming out at last. And once Rachel's memories come back, our leaker says she's in a huge spiral, and Brady and Marlena may have to make a heart-wrenching decision to commit Rachel to the Bayview wing, where catatonic teen mom Sophia Choi was just sent. Jeremy may play a pivotal role in getting Rachel the help she needs, especially if Jeremy sees Rachel having a freak out or a breakdown at school. We are counting down to the final episodes of Alice Halsey as Rachel Black before she heads off screen, possibly for good.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.